Moving ahead, Mrs. Kiran Sharma, Headmistress of Solon Public School. Mrs. Kiran Sharma is an eminent educationist who has been actively pursuing her career for over a decade. She is also a passionate individual who has revolutionized the theory of education at all the institutes she has been attached with. Respected by all her colleagues, she continues to stand out not only as a teacher, but as a gifted leader. In her private time, she is fond of listening to music, reading the classics. Additionally, she also holds an unparalleled devotion for well-directed political thrillers. And the third speaker of the day is Mr. Rasik Gupta. He is the principal of Darshan Academy, Darsia, Punjab. He has 17 years in education sector. He has 17 years of experience in education sector, member of elite panel of CBSE inspection team for affiliation, teachers trainer, students and parents counseling sessions expert, motivational speaker, conducted numerous sessions for youth, awarded many times at national level, but by various organizations such as Brainfeed Education Today, IITA, Avantic, and IUEF. So over to the first speaker. Is he there?
Yeah, he is there. Sir is there.
Yeah. And just mute.
Sir, please unmute yourself. Yes, sir.
Good evening, all panel members, Ms. Sunita, Ms. Sujata. Very happy to be back again with Academia Bridgewell. Yeah.
Most welcome, sir.
Yeah. Ms. Sujata, if you can just allow me to share my screen, that would be so nice of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sunita ma'am, you just. Yes, sir. I think you can do it now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just I'm telling something. If anybody, suppose in between loses the connection or because technical problems are always there, so in the Academia Bridgewell Facebook page, it is live now. Okay. So anybody can watch in the Academia Bridgewell Facebook page too.
That's so nice, ma'am. Thank you. And thank you for the wonderful introduction, Sunita ma'am. This is Kadireshan, the principal of Navanita Public School, Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. This is a very special school because it is run under the CSR initiative, which means the corporate social responsibility. It is run by the Krishnapatnam Port, and all the children here do not pay a rupee. They don't pay a penny. They come from the underprivileged. They don't have enough roof over their head, and that's the background I come from. So these are my children in the school, just for your reference. Yeah. The topic for today, teaching the way students can learn. This is a very typical question. We cannot do a session with this topic. It's more or less like a course in B.Ed or a teacher training. How do we teach children is what we generally learn from a B.Ed class or a teacher training. Yeah. Now, going ahead, the classroom is a dynamic environment wherein you have students of different caliber, different backgrounds, various abilities, and the personalities. Being an effective teacher, therefore, requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching strategies in order to meet the students' individual need. Every child in the class is very important for us. We cannot neglect any child for any reason. And so we need to cater to the needs of every child's need. Whether you have been teaching for 2 months or 20 years, it is always very, very difficult to know which strategy is going to work best for your child. Every day is a new day. So what you had done 20 years back would not be prominent for this generation. So every teaching or teaching strategy is very unique. You cannot claim to have enough experience, and then probably the experience can come handy in devising various strategies just because you had an experience earlier in a modified way. Like now, nobody was experienced with this online classes or the offline classes. Now, the teachers very quickly put on their shoes and then got used to this technology. That is where we have the teaching strategies to be very, very dynamic here. Now, this is a very well accepted fact, the learning pyramid. When we go to the learning pyramid, gone were the days when we had the lecture method, the reading style, the audio visual, the demonstration, etc., which are all mostly the traditional methods. A teacher was supposed to be talking always. They were asked, their job was to make the children read and listen to. There were days when children were not allowed to ask questions. There was only one way that the teacher would speak and the children will had to listen. So that was the days sometime back. But now we have all these things. This pyramid will give you an idea of how knowledge retention takes place, the rate of knowledge retention in child. And very clearly it says 5 to 30% are the passive teaching methods, which only means they're not very effective. It does not mean that lecture method would not be effective. It depends. That is why teaching strategy is a dynamic model. We cannot fix it. Depending on the topic, there can be a lecture method which could be possibly effective, but it cannot be on a regular basis. That is what we mean by those passive teaching methodologies. But the effective is the participatory teaching methods. If you see here, from 50 to 90%, the knowledge retention takes place only when the child, child who is a learner, involves himself in the activity. That is, 50% retention happens when the child is a part of a discussion group. And 75% of the learning or knowledge happens when he practices by doing. And most importantly, 90% when he teaches others. This can be done in a group activity. Now, there are different kinds of different types of learners. In all the educational psychological terms, we segregate them as visual learner, the auditory learners, the kinesthetic learners, etc. Now, we will go one after the other. The first one, teaching the way child can learn. A teacher, these are all suggestions what we can try to implement. Anyway, the teacher is the best ever judge to decide on which is more effective. Visualization, than a lecture method or a one-way transaction of knowledge, visualization plays a very important role in grabbing the attention of the children. A very dull academic concept, A plus B is equal to C or D or whatever it is. In case you bring a flashcard, that becomes more effective. A colorful presentation could be a effective way of handling such class. So bring dull academic concepts to life with visual and practical learning experiences. If you always relate it to the practical learning experience, practically, if the child is going to relate his learning to something he had seen or experienced, that knowledge stays with him forever. Help the students understand how their schooling applies in the real world. So the visualization of the concept should not be just a lecture method. You can bring in life to that teaching by adding some visual mm, concepts or visual pictures or presentations, etc. Then this is something called as the supportive or the cooperative learning. Encourage students of mixed abilities to work together. We saw 90% of the children learned or acquired knowledge when they teach others. So have a heterogeneous mix of students with mixed abilities. So you can have small groups, a class of 25 to 30 can be made into 5 to 6 groups where there be a heterogeneous mix, somebody who has a higher ability than other. So have a mixed group and then make everybody active part of that particular group. So when you make the small groups, then what would happen is children, all the children would try to express their ideas verbally, and they will also be responding to others. They will try to involve themselves, they'll share their ideas, they will try to support the group whatever way they can. By doing so, students will develop their self-confidence as well as enhance their communication and critical thinking skills, which are vital throughout the life. So when the child is trying to participate, trying to be an active part of the group, he would come up with his own ideas. He would prompt the group with some of his thoughts, ideas, etc., which will boost his confidence, and he would be a better learner then. Inquiry based instruction. Before starting with a concept, pose a thought provoking question which can always inspire your students to think for themselves, become more independent learners. Encourage students to ask questions and investigate their own ideas. Help improve their problem solving skills as well as gain a deeper understanding of the academic concepts. Like for example, in science, you could have seen a concept called evaporation at a grade 6 or 7 cases, 7th grade. How can we start a class with evaporation? Give a thought-provoking question. Like when you have a cup of hot tea, why is that generally people who are sipping a hot cup of tea blow some air over the layer of tea? What would happen if they don't and then directly sip? And certainly their experience would tell it's hot. Or you can also, the same cup of coffee or tea, if you pour it in a bigger vessel, what happens? So these are thought-provoking questions. At different age group, the thought-provoking questions should be age appropriate. So which will enthuse the children to learn farther. That is the idea. So they will sustain their interest, they'll have their focus into whatever teaching is happening there. Now, this is another important point in teaching strategy. Differentiate your teaching by allocating tasks based on students' ability to ensure no one is left behind. This is something which is very, very critical and very difficult for most of the teachers to handle, in a sense that there are some children in the class who are non-participatory, who and the others who immediately take the task and then respond. Now, we will have to balance our kind of focus to all the children, give the kind of slow learners a task which they will be finding easier to complete, and give the high achievers or the high-end learners some kind of academic task which can be stretched, which can be researched, and they would have the satisfaction of finding something new on their own. That will create an interest towards the subject and learning also. These are the ways teachers can try to bring in the strategies in their classrooms, and there would be many more. A flip classroom can be one more. A flipped classroom, keep changing the places of, in case a child is remaining in a one particular place, it becomes a fixed role there. So you need to keep changing the position of the children in the classroom periodically, not on a daily basis, but periodically. That could also bring in some effectiveness to your teaching. Right. And this is very, very prominent these days. Incorporating technology into your teaching is a great way to actively engage your students, especially as this digital media surrounds young people in the 21st century. Somewhere in 2000, I believe, uh, the technology or the digital classrooms slowly peeped into the classrooms, where the children were more excited just because you have animated versions, you have the videos very clearly supporting your teaching ideas, and teachers also, they were able to take their children to places where they actually cannot. Say for example, NASA was launching a satellite. You can have a live telecast of that on a digital platform, and so on and so forth. Probably even the Stone Age civilization or the industrial civilization, whatever, and you name it, you can go into the digital media and then get the children involved. And here too, teachers cannot just play a video, or cannot play the digital media and then sit idle. They will have to engage there. A teacher cannot be replaced at all. The teacher needs to interrupt between the video lessons in the digital platform and then check whether the children are able to follow through the lesson. Check, pose some questions, pose some challenging tasks, ask them if they were in that position, what they would do, etc. Now, above all these things, behavior management is also, a noisy classroom always is very, very disruptive. It is often said teachers are responsible, and some of them pass on the blame to PET or the physical education teachers, saying the discipline is their ball game, etc. But why is the child disrupting the class? Because he is not engaged properly. We will have to take the task of engaging every child into the classroom, into the concept we teach. When we involve, that is participatory role of the children in the transaction of concept, then children would be focused, they would have sustained interest in your subject. If you are going to speak Greek and Latin to the children in the classroom, certainly there would be disruption in the classroom. And so it is the task of the teacher to be on their toes when it comes to the behavior management in the classroom. As a teacher, we need to be a learner first. Learning is endless. And these days we see a lot of this webinars, training program, panel discussions happening. As teachers, we need to keep ourselves engaged, involved in our professional development, because the policies keep changing. As I mentioned earlier, what it was 20 years back is something else now. And when we are also a part of this kind of group discussion or exchange of ideas in a webinar or a conference or whatever sort of, we stand to gain knowledge, we stand to discuss and debate over certain kind of initiatives what our colleagues or other teachers could be following. Being an effective teacher is a challenge because every student is unique. However, by using a combination of teaching strategies, you can address varying learning styles and capabilities, or as well make your classroom a dynamic and motivational environment for the students. It depends. It is dynamic. Effective teacher. Who is an effective teacher? It is age appropriate. What happens to be an effective teacher at a kindergarten level is quite different from what it is at a primary level, at a middle school level, and a secondary level or a higher secondary level. So we need to be showing dynamism in our teaching strategies, which way our child can learn better or sustain interest in this. And similarly, it also depends on the environment in the child grows, or the environment the school is situated, etc. So that is something which is very, very important. Now, how successful children, what all they do,
Excuse me,
they
sir.
yeah,
Excuse, sir. Are you doing this annotation or somebody else is doing?
pardon.
Are you in the screen? Are you doing this annotation? You just see,
Yeah,
sir.
I am doing it.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Then
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
Then it's okay, sir. You are doing then okay. No, I
It's
thought that
me.
maybe somebody is doing because
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
yeah.
It's me. I am speaking. I'm speaking.
No,
Probably.
no, sir. The
No, no.
screen that coloring and all on the
Yeah, yeah.
screen.
I am not doing that. I am not doing that on the screen. I'm
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah. Then
I'm
that is what I
not
am
very
telling,
sure.
sir. That I
I
think it's done by somebody else.
Somebody else. Somebody
So
else.
this,
Yes.
please stop. Please stop it and because
French.
now already
French.
this is sharing, so it's I'm not able to this change
Yeah.
the this one also
Yeah.
the setting also.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Great.
Okay,
Yep.
sir. If
Yeah.
possible, sir, if in your this one is there that annotation setting, then you please.
No, no. They have somebody has undone it. So I think it's fine now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So habits of success with children. They enjoy achievement of knowledge and skills. When they learn new things, they get excited about it and they keep sharing everywhere across. Remember it with their friends, with their family, everywhere around. I learned this. I learned this skill. This is something new, is what they would. It might be it is just a coloring, or to writing an essay or a poem or recording a video, whatever kind of. When they have that kind of satisfaction, they enjoy that achievement of knowledge and the skills, and they ask questions. They are familiar with different types of questioning and can apply questions to achieving needed skills, information, and assistance. And children are the best people on the earth who can question anything and everything. Okay, but they The questions could be sometimes meaningless, but give a patient listening. Even if you are not aware of that, say, I'll come back to you, and then give them a possible. Don't give whatever comes into your mind. Just give a thought to it and then go ahead. They are prepared to work and succeed on their own merits. They know what to do. They don't really expect, but they have the pride of their own success, their own progress, etc. They reflect on their progress. They know where they have gone wrong. You don't need to point out. These are the traits of successful students. They know where they have gone wrong, why they have gone wrong. They will analyze. Next time something like that comes, it will certainly be a kind of example for them to go the other way. They develop discipline and focus. They maintain focus. They sustain their focus. They to practice and recognize their growth, etc. They pursue their interests and talents. They know what is their interest, what is their talent, and they always bring in that to support their learning. They apply past lessons to the future lessons, future learning, in fact. So this is what in the recent trends we call it as the KWL chart. What they know earlier, what they want to know, and then how they do it. All this uh, way they relate their learning. Being interested, motivated, and engaged in learning is most important for the children. And as the child gets older, he enjoys taking more responsibility for his learning and getting more involved in making decisions about learning and organizing activities. Probably now, if I look back to my schooling and then what I learned, it is I seriously don't remember anything which I have learned as a concept, but I remember the teachers who made a remarkable difference when compared to others. I still remember my grade 2 teacher who had given me a Poppins then for reciting a multiplication table. That was my kind of achievement, which I still. And when I went to, as I grew up, there were that recognition in the classroom which made me feel much more confident than what I was. And when I grew up, it was more of independent learning. And so teachers who motivated me, who encouraged me, who motivated me towards that independent learning, like still I keep remembering my 12th grade investigatory project, which was a serious learning for me. I never learned it in a book. The topic was effect of tea, coffee, and alcohol on fish. Just because we cannot find at that particular age, we cannot find the effect on humans, we took a fish. And it was more interesting because we went physically for a fishing. We took different concentration levels of this tea, coffee, and alcohol, experimented, checked the time duration, what happened to the fish, all those things, which are still, even after say 25 years plus, I still remember those because those are the moments which marked a difference in my learning. Okay, so every teacher can bring a difference in the teaching process. The way you handle your children, you are a master of the subject, but remember, child is your the child who is your student is whole and solely dependent on you initially, when before he moves into an independent learner. So it is how you tune them. It's just like the traffic signals, signboards, how you direct them. That is how your children would be moving. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Over to Sujata ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Will you please stop sharing your screen?
Yes, I'm doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Khadiresan sir, for giving your wonderful session. And I'm sure that this is going to help the teachers as well as the aspiring teachers for their future. So to move ahead, let us call our second resource person of the day, Mr. Rasik Gupta sir. Mr. Rasik Gupta sir. Rasik Gupta sir.
Thank you, ma'am. The screen is still showing. So 16 is still showing.
Okay, sir.
So is it your screen? Right.
Rasik Gupta sir, I think.
I'm there. Can you listen to me?
Yeah, sir. We
Can you hear
listen
my
to
voice?
Yeah. You are
Right,
audible.
right.
You are audible, sir. You are audible. So
You
to
can
move
share your
ahead,
screen, sir.
yeah, you can share your screen.
So I'll keep sharing in between.
Yeah.
First of all,
Where is sir? Yes, sir.
audible. Yeah, this problem was bound to happen. I had already shared this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, technology is not the same everywhere. So we
Yeah,
all
I
face the
know.
brunt of technology sometimes. The more we're attending these webinars, the more we are trying to understand how the students are facing this problem. So as uh, I still remember the previous webinar in which I was there with Academy of Bridgewell, our schools required. In the same manner, what I am going to say today will straight come from my heart, from my I'm trying to switch
Rasik
my
sir,
video. There
you
is
need to unmute yourself.
I have to, am I audible?
Oh, sir, your audio
Hello.
is muted. Your audio is muted. No, I know problem is there. Sir, his video is giving problem. You can start with the audio only. That way also sometimes it's possible. Technological problem actually we cannot overcome. Sometimes it happens.
By the time shall we move ahead with the next speaker, he will come back with the proper video.
No, ma'am. I think let's start with him only because his problem will be
Because he's
there.
not able to speak also. I have
Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Let him
No,
try.
am I audible now?
Yeah. You are audible
Am I
now.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so better I'll just keep my video off so that the bandwidth is there and I can just communicate with you people. I
Okay.
believe my words are more important than my face today. So what I wanted to say is that whenever I speak always out of my heart, less from my mind, more from my heart. And this topic is very well connected to my heart, teaching the students the way they learn. Why do you wonder more on this topic? Is something to show you.
I think we carry on with Kiran Sharma, madam.
hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Good
Kiran
evening,
ma'am, you
ma'am.
can carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am.
Would
Thank
you
you so
like
much.
to share your screen?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Yeah, ma'am, you can start. And I request everybody not to do annotation, please.
Yeah, please.
We
I
all are
request
teachers
everyone
here.
to annotate, use the annotate tool. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiran, and I've been in the education sector for the past 15 years. I started as a matron, and currently I'm working as a headmistress. The topic today is very close because I've been a teacher for my maximum of my educational, professional career. And I'm going to take this topic from both the stakeholders, from the teacher side also and from the student side also. We do know that as as management, as principals, and as teachers, that we want to give so many things, but practically, how much is possible? That is what I would like to talk about. So, as a teacher, this difficult situation, I'm talking about only the current scenario right now. I'm not talking about the physical school. We do know, and all of us do many things in the physical school, which, we can talk about later maybe, but I'm just talking about the current scenario. On the online scenario, what is being done, what can be done, and how can we further improve on that. So as a teacher today, this difficult situation, it has taught me, so many new things. And I've also unlearned many things. I've unlearned that I can teach without the board and my chalk. And I've learned that many a times, even when the child is not writing, is learning. This is one thing that is very, very important that we need to understand. The current scenario, it has in this atmosphere, it has proven to be extremely challenging. Most of us had to adapt to technology that we weren't familiar with overnight. And I'm talking about from the teacher's side right now, even from the parent side. Our working hours have increased. Our phones have been buzzing, from morning till night. We've been teachers. We have learned IT. And I'll tell you for a fact, my Sanskrit teacher was teaching Sanskrit. The audio went off of the child and just telling the child, it's okay, beta. She's chatting and telling, okay, log off, log in, all of these things. We are teaching the students right now. So they've become troubleshooters. They've learned technology, they're teaching technology, they become IT teachers also, along with the respective subject teachers. Most of the information that is delivered to them is in PowerPoint. That is usually that we do. The kids, they copy from the teachers, from the slides. Then they have some sort of worksheets where they are basically, vomiting or regurgitating what all is there on the slides. And this is repeated. I don't know how many of you are using the Zoom background, the Zoom platform or maybe the Google Meet, but most of us, 90% of the schools, we are teaching them in the same way. Is this what we want? That is what we are here to talk about. And I really would want your inputs in the chat box itself. Is this what we want? Do we want our children just to have the rote learning method, just to write from the slides and to carry on? This is not what we want. We want the concepts and the ideas to be clear. And how are we going to do about that? Like one thing that we started in our school was the projects. A very simple project, maybe about, like if I give you an example about a project of grade 4th maths. So we gave them a project of grade 4th maths where all the 4 functions of mathematics have been cleared with them. They've done the addition, they've done subtraction, they have done multiplication, they have done division. So we gave them a project of making a budget of their birthday. So we told them that, okay, ask your parents what is 1 packet of balloons. We made them a very small chart of what would you like to have for your birthday party? How much does it cost? Multiply with how many things you want, how many friends you are calling for, and then prepare a budget. So that this took them around a week. And at the end of that week, most of them, the 4 concepts of the functions of the multiplication, they were clear. But the best part was they understood the value of money. They processed it. They used all the knowledge that we had given them, the concepts that we had given them, to write down and to prepare one chart and to write an essay, whether they wanted to have the birthday party or they did not want to have that birthday party. I believe that was the best lesson that we could ever teach them without the parents. This is what I would like to talk about, to really learn in a way so that they can, it would stick with them. We need to make them do those things. Just telling them to draw a flower and to label it, it may be there in their memory for a little while, but telling them to pick out their favorite flower and then to maybe dry it up in between the newspapers like we used to do, and then to take out the stamen and the pollen from there and to tape it, they'll always remember that. That is what we are doing currently here in our school. I listen to most of the teachers, they talk in the school itself, on social media, many of them in the private messages. The most of them, the way that they speak is, I'm covering this concept in the class and I'm also putting up games also. But I don't know what is happening at the end of that. When I ask them questions, it is not clear. Just because you've covered it, that doesn't mean that they've learned it. I don't know, and I'm not here to upset anybody over here, but as a teacher, I would say this thing. I'm teaching SST to grade 7th and 8th. I'll tell you, the problem is not what we are doing right now. The problem is what we are not doing. I'm teaching them India, but I'm not showing them India. I'm talking about the crops, but I am not showing them the rice or the wheat that I have. So my main motto here, my main motive is to share the concept that to teach the kids right now is only and only in the practical way. How can we change from boring to interesting? We have, attention grabbers. So I usually start my class with a small poetry. I give them 2-3 words on, on the whiteboard on the Zoom. I tell them, okay, these are the 3 words for today. And by the last 5 minutes, we are going to have a small poetry competition. Or in the middle, we have small attention grabbers like 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, or smile on me. That's it. So something like this, which changes the boring classroom into an interesting one. We have 30-35 minutes of class. And I'll tell you very clearly, after 15 minutes or 20 minutes, most of you over here also, your attention will also, move from one place to another. You look here and there. You'll be listening to your people, the family members moving around. It happens, it is the same with the kids. And we need to realize that we need to understand it, and we need to take, we need to take out solutions so that this doesn't happen. How to keep them engaged? So in the first part, he was very clear about it. Engaging the students is something that is very, very important. It is a priority also, not only during the lockdown, but in the physical school also. How can we do that? Are we planning our lessons well? Are we planning our activities well? I don't know how we are going about it, but what we do over here is that on Saturdays, all of us have a Zoom meeting in the staff meeting. We have our activities planned out. We have all our things properly, and before our lecture starts, we have it with us. We inform our students, like tomorrow we're going to have a coloring activity. You need to have your colors with you at this time. And we have, even for the chemicals, if we want to have them, dissolving things. So we tell them, bring common salt, glass or water, and 2-3 stones from outside. So very simple things that can easily be done at home. We tell them all of this, and everything is done online. That is one of the ways that we could have, we have this thing that where the students are answering, they're also interested. And believe me when I tell you, we started our online classes from 24th of March until date. We've got 100% attendance. None of the students have missed out on their classes. That is, I believe, the best thing that I could do. We are keeping them engaged. We teach them only 3 core subjects. But main thing is that in between, we have yoga, we have our music classes, we have our dance classes, and these fun activities, actually, they are very, very helpful. And all of this, they are all bound together with the life skill. We are teaching them what are the values, the relationships, and we do ask, and this is something that I would request everyone to do so, asking students very normal questions like, did you wish your mother good morning today? Or what did you have for your breakfast today? So like, what is mama cooking for lunch today? Very simple questions. And this connect that the teacher can make with the child goes for a long, long way for the student. These are very small things that we have done, and I'm sharing it with you. We emailed our students. We wrote very small notes. Dear so-and-so, just remember, we are there for you, and wordings like, just remember that, that day when we had our club activity and we were sitting together and we were singing this song, don't be sad, that day will come again. And also humanizing ourselves as teachers, the parents, the students, they think of ourselves, the teachers as robots. कि मैम को रात को 8 बजे भी अगर कुछ homework भेज दो, or you can send the homework at 5 o'clock also. So you need to explain to the students also side by side, look, the time of the school was 8 to 2. I'm doing till 2 o'clock. So you need to send the homework by 4 o'clock. That is it. Because what we do is we tell them, okay, I need to cook for my kids. Okay, you know, I need to do some cleaning up, something like this that I have been putting off for forever because I've been preparing the PPTs for the classes and something like this. All of these things, they actually connect the child with the student and the learning process. The adversities are a lot, the challenges are many, but as teachers and as students, uh, you know, I believe this is our moral responsibility that we need to fix all the problems that they are facing. If we are sharing the PPT and it is not being opened, or let's say the technological problem that we are facing right now, and this is very common that happens. Most of the time you're teaching, all of a sudden you break off, you're teaching, you see, okay, half of the class is gone. Where are they? You don't know. The door, you've locked the classroom. When they are trying to enter, you're teaching and you do not get to know. It is okay. And it is okay to tell them also that it's okay with the situation. We'll make mistakes. We are human beings. Doesn't matter. What we can do is we can just repeat the classes. We can repeat the lesson that has been taught in that class, especially maybe for those those students who have missed out for those classes. And usually what we do this, what we advocate during this time is that let the students who have attended the classes teach them. Because teaching, as sir has already said, teachers, when you're teaching, actually your 90% of your concepts are cleared. And it is the same with the students also. Well, so when they're teaching their class fellows, you'll find there are jokes and they're asking questions, and there'll be a lot of curiosity from the students. Okay, can you tell me what time is, what is the time now? How much time are you going to take? It's okay. Let them question, let the student who is teaching that topic, let him or her answer. Because I'll tell you, this is going to develop a lot of self-confidence in the child. This is the time when we can work on all those values which we are unable to do so during the physical school, because we are so focused on running after a syllabus. Just let them know that you are there. Reach out to them. Maybe, once in a while, in 15 days or so. Most of the counselors are there. You have health experts also. We usually have one lecture of the counselor after every 15 days, because this is a very stressful time when everybody's at home. The parents are stressed because they have to sit with the kindergarten students and their children for the classes, and then after that they have to complete the homework. So it's okay. It's okay to be stressed out, and let the counselor tell the same to them. Rumi, the Persian poet, everybody has heard of him. He said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. This is a time of uncertainty and unknowing. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We still do not know when the schools are going to reopen. Though Haryana has just, given a form for survey to most of the parents to, asking them when would they like to have their kids back in the school. So they are the first state to start with it. We still do not know. But we need to carve out a path for the students, for us, to find a middle way where there is not too much of screen time, but on the other hand, it is not that they are not learning. We don't want that. We want them to learn, but we want them to learn in a practical way. And that is where all of us need to put our heads together and decide whether the reading part is more important, or what is more important, or the concept clarity is more important, the projects are more important, all of this. The last part that I would like to talk about is the retrieval practices. Most of us teach, we teach, that's it. And we teach. We don't do other than that. We forget that somewhere along the line, while we are teaching, as and when the information is coming, it is going at the back of the head, which we need to pull out again and again. And we need to brush it up. So rather than asking them at the end of the week, okay, let's now revise what we have done in this week. Let's, in the middle of the class, let's ask them, okay, come on, start with two of you. Who's going to tell them, who's going to tell me, what did we learn yesterday? Just two things. It's hardly going to take, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, more than that, not more than that. And that is why I'm saying, I'm talking to you as a stakeholder, as a teacher, and as a parent. We don't want the students to miss out on the, the half an hour of the class. But on the other hand, I don't want the teachers to have too much of pressure and stress on them to have their, revision tests and the projects. So when we are teaching something, let us help them to learn it better. Let us have small quizzes. There are very small, there's a very beautiful app called Quizzes in the Play Store. If you could just download it, it has fixed seconds. You can just type the question. You can share it with your teachers. It's very easy to use. And the child can easily just revise it twice a week, thrice a week, and send it back to you in 2 minutes. And the answers that come back to you are yes, no, which you have already written with yourself. So you know whether the clarity, the concept clarity is there or not, or whether the child is just listening to you, just hearing you, not listening to you. So rather than putting in the concepts, let's try to take out some concepts from them. There are a few other options that we can use. We have like Think, Pair and Share. In the chat box, you can easily tell, okay, let's say, okay, Ma'am Sunita and Ma'am Sujata, you are the pair right now. Yesterday, we studied India and, we were talking about the crops. Just quickly write 2 things about it in the chat box. That's it. The other person is going to say yes or no, whether it is correct or not. That's it. The quizzes part I've already shared with you. The flashcards the students themselves will make, and they'll make it on the PPT. From 5th onwards, everybody's studying, MS Office in the computers. So they know how to make a PowerPoint. Let them make it. And Brain Dumps is a beautiful, beautiful game that can easily be played. I'll just start with, let's say, wheat. And let's say Ma'am Sunita is second. Okay, what is related to wheat that we studied yesterday? The third person, the fourth person. And in few minutes, the full class has revised the lesson that you had done, maybe in 1 day or 2 days. That's all. But on the other hand, I don't want you to pressurize the teachers to use it as an assessment tool. This is not assessment. Retrieval is, it's a strategy just to revise on what has happened, on what has been taught. It is like a feedback for the teachers. If they are going too slow, if they are going too fast, how to pace themselves. All right. And it is also to space up their practice. Like, let's say I want to do 2 activities today, but I couldn't complete them. So when I take a retrieval, from the students, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and they'll tell me, ma'am, we wanted to complete the activity, but we couldn't. So I'll know that the activity part was important. So I need to have only 1 activity in 1 lecture, and maybe the second activity in the second lecture. It is also to match the, the practice that we are doing, concept clarity, with the assessment. So all of this is how I would want my student to learn. That is all from my side. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come on this platform and to share my views and my thoughts.
Hello, ma'am. 1 or 2% just want to know something. That
Yes,
can you please explain the brain dump? Somebody has written. Can you please explain
brain
the brain
dump?
dump?
Ma'am, brain dump, I have just, as I just said, brain dump is a very quick game, a quick revision strategy. Like, let's say I've been teaching crops. I was talking about wheat yesterday. So I'll start with, as a teacher, I'll say wheat. So Ma'am Sunita is the first student of my class. So what is, the word relating to wheat that you learned yesterday. Maybe it is summer, and then it comes to you. You'll say it requires water. So then it'll come to maybe Kadisiran sir. So maybe he'll say that, wheat, it is harvested in May. So that is brain dump. When the full class comes together to revise the lecture in few minutes, that is brain dumps. It's a very beautiful and a very quick exercise that I usually do in my SST class.
Okay. You also named one app, ma'am, actually. You named one app, but many could not. Yeah, yeah. Can you please write it down? Because many were asking this, that what is the name of the app?
Sure, ma'am. It is QUIZZEZ. It is quizzes. It is, you also have Kahoot. I am sharing both of them. Both the apps are wonderful, ma'am, and they are very quick. The teachers can easily make it from their mobiles, and it hardly takes 5 minutes for the teachers to write down, like yes and no questions. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful,
Nicely
wonderful
presented,
session.
ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Think parent share is like for the 2-pair activity, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I request Rasik Gupta, sir. Once again, I request Rasik Gupta, sir, please. Yeah. Please unmute yourself, sir.
You have to.
Yeah, sir, I have done.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Don't know for how long. So better we quickly begin with what I had planned for today. So I'll share my screen with you people. What I want is both my co-panelists, they have spoken very well. They have made us realize in the ways the students have been taught. My focus is going to be why the students should be taught in the way they can learn. That is very important. Somehow we teachers, when we teach in the class, we take the class on a whole and we use the methods which are generalized for all. Suppose even if we talk about lecture method or lecture demonstration or practical teaching involving the students, we sometimes use the same So we use the same method for everybody without understanding the need. Why should we use different teaching strategies and teaching methods for different students? I hope everybody can see this picture which is there on my screen.
No, sir.
It was there earlier, but now it's not there.
It's not there.
Now it's not there. No, sir. Sir, I think you can continue without the screen sharing also, sir. Because, due to, yeah, you are audible, so you can start, sir.
I'm audible, then it's okay, fine. What I wanted to show you people is that some of the images which I had collected from across the internet, where the same methodology being used for all the students. All the students are taught in the same way. Maybe if I'll just give you a verbal description, you will be able to recall if you have also seen those images. There is an image where a fresh log of wood is carried. All the students around are having the shape of candles, and that student is being taken on the easel to be hung over there because he has some different kind of brain, not like the others. You must have seen the photograph. It's very common on internet where there is an elephant, there is a dog, a bird, a monkey, a penguin, a long queue of animals, and they have to pass a standardized test in order to get admission in the school, and that test is climbing on the tree. So such grim scenario is of the education which is there in India. We people don't focus on individuality of the child. My focus today is going to be on the same thing. Every child is a different individual. He has different learning needs, and being teachers, first of all, we should be able to identify those learning needs. Without identifying those learning needs, if we are using the same method to teach each and every child, that will definitely not work. I'll just give you one example. Suppose a classroom teaching is going on, and the student is, all the students are present, and teacher is teaching mathematics. She gives a sum to the student. If suppose the name of the student is Mohan. Mohan, if your friend Ram gives you 2 mangoes and your friend Sham gives you 3 mangoes, how many mangoes will you have? Suppose if I ask you people also the same question, what will be your answer? I'm really sorry, I'm not able to see anything on my screen. My screen has gone totally blank. It has hung. I hope I'm audible at least.
Yes, sir. You are audible. You are audible, sir.
So if
Yeah,
you can
so-
share
you
that,
are audible, sir.
if you can share that to my email, I will share your screen.
My laptop screen is hung now. I
Okay.
can't do anything except speaking.
Okay, okay,
None
sir.
of the actions are working.
Sir, you continue.
Okay, okay.
Otherwise, I'll have to
You continue.
switch off and on. That will take a lot of time. So if you're speaking, so you can answer the question. Suppose you are the student in my class and I tell you that, okay, if Ram gives you 2 mangoes and Sham gives you 3 mangoes, how many mangoes will you have?
Somebody has given answer, sir. 5.
5. Others,
5. Yes.
I can't see, but
Yeah,
everybody
any
can
other?
participate.
5. Yeah, sir. I
5.
am telling. Yeah, 5.
5. Okay. So we all agree that we'll have 5, but the student says, I'll have 7. How will you justify this? Being a teacher, will you accept that answer?
No.
You have told him, Ram gives you 2 mangoes, Sham gives you 3 mangoes. How many mangoes will you have? And the student says, I'll have 7.
He has 2 in the pockets.
How many of you will? Yes, absolutely right. The student knows that he had brought 2 mangoes from home. Mama has packed 2 mangoes in his tiffin box. So he has 2. The teacher doesn't know. The student is right on his part. But the teacher, not knowing that the student already has 2 mangoes and he's counting those 2 mangoes also, making it 7 mangoes, would definitely mark the answer as wrong. This is what generally happens. You must have also seen one more photograph. It is there on internet, available everywhere. When the student conducts a test, a written test of mathematics again, and she asks the child to circle the smallest number, and the options are given with 1, number 1, 30, 40, 50, number 2, 56, 76, 48, number 3. So the child circles 1, 2, 3, and 4. In all 4 sums, which has 4 options in double digits, the child circles only the single digit. And the teacher marks a cross that all the answers are wrong. Are the answers wrong? Just ask yourself. You simply asked a child to circle the smallest number, and you have given the questions in the form of numbers itself. And the options are also in the form of numbers. So the child has used his brain and very rightly circled the smallest number in each question, which is the question number itself. Can you call the child wrong? I'm not able to see to you people, but
Framing the question should
can
be
just
very
share the
appropriate.
reaction. Yes, absolutely right. The teacher needs to frame the question right. It was the fault of the teacher, but I do believe that child was not at fault. The child's understanding of the concept was right. The child could understand the expectation of the teacher. The teacher expected the child to circle the smallest number. Accordingly, he did. Right? So likewise, there is an example in class +1 English literature, Albert Einstein in the school. If there are some students, some teachers who must have taught class +1, they know this chapter very well. It happens so that Albert Einstein was a very good student. He understood the concepts of mathematics, but he was not able to understand history. So his history teacher was always angry with him. He always wanted Einstein to learn the facts and figures, but Einstein never ever felt the need of learning the facts and figures. He openly argued with the teacher, "Sir, what is the need to learn the facts and figures when we can open the book anytime and find out? Whichever year you are talking about, I can find out from the book. Nowadays, we don't even need the books. We all have mobiles in our hands. So whenever we need certain facts and figures about something, about events of history, we can simply search. Google shares each and everything with us." So he was never comfortable learning those facts and figures, but because of this thing only, he was labeled as dumb and duffer by that history teacher. So on the other hand, on the contrary, the mathematics teacher knew that Einstein had the qualities and capabilities to be a very good, brilliant mathematician. So he tells Einstein always that whatever I could teach, I have already taught you. My dear son, you have learned a bit more than what I could teach you. So now you should leave this school and you should go to some higher school or the colleges or some institutions where you will learn some advanced mathematics. So there also the teacher could not figure out the learning needs of the child. There are hundreds of examples like this. See, if we talk about Sachin Tendulkar, he's called as the god of cricket. Had that god of cricket and his need to learn cricket, his inclination towards cricket, not been identified by his parents, and had he been taught to be a doctor or an engineer, haven't we lost a brilliant cricketer? On the contrary, had Vishwanathan Anand been forced by his parents and teachers to be a cricketer instead of a chess player, had we not lost a brilliant chess grandmaster? And same goes with all the other sports persons as well as actors as well as artists. If I talk about the ancient times, Guru Dronacharya could identify very well that out of 5 Pandavas, everybody was not meant to be a great archer. He taught the art of archery basically to Arjuna. He taught you to the swords to Nakul and Sahdev, the harp to Yudhishthira. Had he also taught the same skill to all the 5 Pandavas, would they have ever won the battle of Mahabharata? So these are the questions which being teachers, we need to ask ourselves that how can we teach the same thing to all the students, and how can we expect them to perform the same. That is the reason when we see these board examinations and the results coming out these days, the ones who are getting 95% and above, 90% and above, they are being praised all over. Everybody just shows their pictures and gives congrats and all and praises them. But does it mean that the ones who could not score that much, the ones who scored in 50s and 60s and 70s, are less capable, are not bound to succeed in their life? So as I was saying, my focus is more on individuality of every student. Every child has some inherent talent, some inherent quality and capability, and some different learning needs and styles. That is why, as Sir had shared in the beginning itself, the lecture method and the understanding by the lecture method, and visual and audiovisual and kinesthetic and practical based. So these all studies have been done keeping the individuality of each child in mind. But unfortunately, while teaching in class, we forget that individuality. We try to teach all the students in the same way. So as I was saying, my focus was more on individuality of each child to be respected. His learning needs to be identified first of all, and then to be taught. Whenever we go to a doctor, the first endeavor of the doctor is always to identify the cause, the problem, the root cause of the disease. Without identifying the problem, we cannot provide a solution. We cannot just use hit and trial method for everybody. Each and every student wants to be heard, deserves to be heard, and only a teacher can hear to the issues and problems of that child and try to provide the solutions to the same. And accordingly, once a teacher is able to identify the learning need, the learning style of each and every individual, then she needs to adapt according to the need of that child. We always say, if a child doesn't understand the way you teach, you must teach the way a child understands. And I always tell my teachers that we need to find out the level of the child in each class. Every student has a different level, and if the level is bit low, then it is the role and responsibility of the teacher to first of all identify that level and then go down to that level and offer a helping hand to that child to pull him up along with the other students. So because of technology, I'm not able to share what I had to share. So I believe I'll have to end my talk over here only. Sorry for this inconvenience.
No, sir, it's okay. You told before only that after evening your area net becomes very
Yes.
very critical. So it's okay, but somehow we could hear you, sir. That's our good luck.
My purpose of talking was this only, that all the teachers who are present over here would understand the need to first of all find out the individual differences among the children. Without understanding, without knowing this need, and without accepting that yes, we need to understand the individual differences, we cannot use individual strategies to teach the students. So first of all, we have to be very clear in our mind. In my class, if 30 students are studying, all 30 might have 30 different learning needs. So being the teacher, my first responsibility has to identify those learning needs and accordingly teach the students. Thank you.
That's what is very, very true. Very, very true. And I also, just when you were talking, okay, that popped out in my mind that when you said that about one example regarding the, you can say, what was it, that circle the smallest number, as you told, circle the smallest number, and the numbers were given here, and the child did and circle all these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then actually, if this thing happens, Okay, the teacher may also commit the mistake. I understand ABCD he has not given, he has given the 1 to same numbers. But at least while checking, the teachers must, at that time, his duty is to think that the concept of the child is clear.
Absolutely,
His
absolutely, ma'am. There,
concept, the
there are
child's
two kinds of
concept,
questions.
yeah, the
If
child's
we,
concept is
yeah,
that smallest number, he can identify the smallest number. So why to give him wrong there?
yes.
That
And
should be better.
if we talk about the questions other than mathematics, there are two kinds of questions: closed-ended questions and open-ended questions. Closed-ended, suppose I ask you in which year this war happened. So the answer will be closed. You cannot give a different answer. It will be 1980, 1886 or 1775, something like this. So that will be a fixed answer. Even the student and the teachers all are supposed to have the same answer. But if I give you a question that what do you feel that this battle was fought for? You are asking the child, what does the child feel? There might be a particular reason available, but the child's thinking can be different. 10 children can give you 10 different reasons why do they feel that the battle might have happened. So being a teacher, we should have our minds also open. If we are asking open-ended questions from students, we should have open minds to assess the answers which they have given according to their own understanding. That's why I said every child is a different individual, which with different learning needs and with different learning patterns and behaviors also. So if he has understood something and is able to logically prove why he thinks so, so being teachers, we should be able to accept that with brave heart. I'll just give you a small example. A child asks a question from a child, which is the first silent Hindi movie? What will be your answer? If I ask you this question, which was the first silent Hindi movie? Anybody?
Raja
What answer
Harishchandra.
will you give me?
Raja Harishchandra.
Others, are we having any answers in the chat box? Which was the first silent Hindi movie?
Alamara, Alamara, yes, sir. Alamara. Somebody has given Sarita Kumari. Alamara.
Okay.
Either
Others,
Alamara or Raja Harishchandra. I also forgot.
right. So there will be definitely many answers will be there. But my answer, if suppose I am a student in that class, I will ask the teacher one question. Sir, if it was a silent movie, how do you know it was a Hindi movie? Now, am I wrong? Being a child.
No.
My understanding says that silent movies don't have any dialogues. How do I know that it is a Hindi movie? It can be an English movie also.
Excuse me, sir.
So this is what I say, that every child understands the concepts in different ways, and sometimes the child's understanding is even more than teachers. So being teachers, we should be able to accept that. Like in case of Einstein, the teacher accepted very boldly that you know a bit more than what I know. Yeah, somebody was speaking.
In order to develop the fun in the class, sometime we may share the experience with the students. That I asked the students that your father borrowed 1,000 rupees from me, and he returned me only 100. How much rest of the money he is needed to return? The student then the student said none. I asked him why, sir. His reply was, "You may very expert in math, but don't know about my father. He never returned a single penny."
Right, right.
So the child is right in his answer. The teacher can't say no, the right answer should be 900 only. The child has given the right answer according to his own understanding. Here the teacher needs to update.
Yes,
Definitely, definitely. Very good, sir. Kulvinder Singh, sir.
yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So
Sir,
I
very
think,
excellent. Very.
yeah. So I think it was an excellent session with our first three resource persons.
It was.
Yeah. So P. Khadiresan sir, Kiran Sharma madam, and Rasi Gupta sir. Thank you very much, all of you, to speak your hearts. And I am sure that the teachers have been benefited. Although all are muted, but some have wrote in the chat box. Okay.
Thank you to all the speakers.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
just doing to unmute all the speaker participants. If anybody would like to say something, they can say. Just yeah.
Just wanted to thank you for, first of all, Mr. Rasek Gupta, I'm hearing you for the first time, and it was really wonderful to hear such beautiful examples from you. And I've learned a lot from you. And I believe this platform is a wonderful platform for learning. As educators, as I said, as educators, we need to upgrade ourselves every day. It's someday, every day is a learning day. So thank you, Sujata ma'am, and thank you, Sunita ma'am, for providing us such a beautiful platform of learning and sharing of ideas, I would say. Thank you.
Of course, a great session, Sujata ma'am, Sunita ma'am. Thanks for coordinating. All your efforts and coordinating has brought in enough experiences for us. We have learned. Yeah, and Rasi Gupta, it was very enthusing thoughts what you had in the form of questions and things like that. Now, here I also would like to end before. See, we have this knowledge transition to the children from the teachers happening. It should be age appropriate, is what we've been talking about. And still, believe me, all of us still believe that sun rises in the east. Somewhere in the first standard, you teach them that sun rises in the east, and still it continues even as an adult. But certainly, sun does not rise, and it's a fixed one. It's the Earth's rotation and the revolution which brings
Exactly.
that effect.
Right,
That's
right,
how
right.
that's how we need to develop the concept further. Just because of the simplicity we see as a daily appearance, that's where we will have to change the focus from our teaching strategies. And also, these days on the media and the social medias, we have all these jokes coming up. All the teachers are waiting for the schools to reopen, and the first task the language teachers would give is write an essay on your COVID vacation. This is the first kind of topic which is going to be given by the language teachers, and this is how a teacher is being kind of ideated by the children and by the parents also. This is a very simple task what everywhere it is going around, but let's also do the other way around. So good, wonderful insight into the session. Thanks a lot, Sunita ma'am, and then
Thank you.
Sujata
Thank
ma'am,
you.
and panel members. Excellent, excellent. It's a good learning for me as well. Thank
So,
you.
this is possible only because educators like you come forward and deliver their talks. Otherwise, it is not possible. Yeah.
Otherwise, it is not
We
possible.
can just plan.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you people who put forward their ideas. So we are immensely grateful to all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even
Super.
even
Very
even our Sunita ma'am is the panelist for the third day.
great,
So
great,
Sunita
great.
ma'am is also the panelist for third day. Business person. Okay, so it was a nice session. Anybody
Good
wants to?
evening, sir.
Yeah, yes, please. So who is speaking?
Yes, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. And right now, I'm an aspirant teacher and I'm pursuing B.Ed right now. I'm from Tinsukia. And I think the example that you gave for the close-ended questions and the open-ended questions was quite relatable for me because I'm pursuing bid and recently before lockdown we were pursuing those classes and professors were explaining us related to that, so I could relate that questions and those topics which you were explaining right now, and it was wonderful example that you gave and thank you so much. And I think in future it will definitely help us and will follow those steps and points which were given by you. Thank you so much for this. And thank you so much, Sujata ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so very much, ma'am. And myself, Shwanava Bhattacharya, I think you can get me, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
She was
wish
my
you good luck.
student. She was
Wish you
my
good luck.
student.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
She was
Thank you
my
so
student
very
Wish you
when
much.
she
good
was
luck.
very young. Actually.
I'm Shashikala. It
Okay.
is a beautiful session, very enriching one.
You can start your video, madam. I actually am on it, but
Sure. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed today evening session because this platform and just learning online teaching. I'm a teacher. I'm learning online teaching, and I enjoyed it because I realized one thing: children are digital natives, and we need to prepare ourselves to keep abreast in all the like in all the online session and all that digitally. We need to upgrade ourselves, and I envisage we'll be going to this. We'll be always. We'll be following this more. Online is going to be the thing of the future. So this session was good, and more inputs into the ways to communicate digitally. That will be really helpful. Is that possible?
definitely, ma'am. 2 days more are there. So with different topics we are coming up.
Yeah, I would like to know
Comment.
this facts.
Yes, madam. I did not get you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, madam. That senior teachers like you all, again starting the new technologies and teaching digitally. This is really hats off to you people. So teachers are actually throughout the country. The teachers are learning now. Teachers are learning. It's trial and error. So we are all learning and teaching. Hats off
Exactly.
to you.
I teach, I learn.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think it's over now.
Yeah.
I think it's over. So to move ahead, we are already in time. It's 8:40. So we should end up our session. But I want to say something. I want to just remind some of the people, those who have paid the scope for the certification. Many of you have paid, but no name is there. Okay, so I'm unable to get that who is the person who paid. So please, those who have paid, you please screenshot or share the certificates to me. If you have not got the mail, if that acknowledgement mail, if you have not got, then you please send me the screenshot so that it becomes easier for me to do with the certificate works. Okay. So I am getting actually that.
Very nice session, Sujata.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very nice session.
It was wonderful, ma'am. It was
We have
wonderful,
just
ma'am.
disabled my video.
Okay, okay, sir. Happens. Actually, it's that done in general.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for a nice session.
Remain very active up to late night.
Yes, yes, sir.
Shastra ma'am remained very active up to late night in order to make the successful this seminar.
At 2 o'clock at night yesterday,
Yeah.
I went to bed.
I got your acknowledgement by very late.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Actually, what happens now? Daytime children are also having that online classes nowadays. Everywhere the parents' situation is like that. So we don't get actually to do the work. Then the maids are not coming. We, the ladies, have to do that also, sir. You people will not understand this. So everything must go on. So night is the time when we can cool down our head and then we can work. Thank you very much. Thank you for encouragement.
Ma'am Sujata, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Wonderful session. It's a session day after tomorrow or tomorrow, ma'am?
Day after
19, 21st and 23rd, no? Is it so?
Yeah, 21st. 21st
Thank
is the next session. So
thank you.
have a great day, all of you.
Same time.
Good night, ma'am. Stay
Good
safe.
night. Good night.
Thank you all.
45. So we are meeting again on 21st.
Good night.
6:45.
Good
Good night,
Thank you
everybody.
so much, Sujata ma'am. Thank you, Sunita ma'am.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night to all.
Okay, ma'am. Good night, Sunita ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank
Okay,
you
ma'am.
all.
So what did you
Kadir
ask?
San.
Somebody asked.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody
Thank you
asked a
all.
screenshot of
Yeah.
what did you ask? Actually, the
Yeah,
payment, those who have paid the for the certificate, 300 rupees for the certificate, those who have paid. So I asked them to share me the screenshot. I'm unable to understand actually some people I understood, I acknowledged immediately in the mail. But those who have not got the mail after paying also, they please, all of you, come forward and share me the screen in the mail, in WhatsApp, anywhere. Just share me the screen, share me the receipt. Okay, sir? Thank you, everybody.
okay, thank you. Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
Kadir sir.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.